Timothy Williamson, Doing Philosophy, From Common Curiosity to Logical Reasoning. Welcome to a world where curiosity and reasoning drive our thirst for knowledge. In To Doing Philosophy, From Common Curiosity to Logical Reasoning by Timothy Williamson, explore how philosophy distinguishes itself from other fields of inquiry by asking the most general questions. Delve into the evolution of philosophy as a discipline and its overlaps with natural sciences. Journey through the landscape of thought experiments, argumentation, doubt, and the role of philosophical methods in various disciplines. Let us unravel the fascinating intertwining of philosophy with the scientific world, and appreciate philosophy's undeniable contributions to technological and scientific advancements.
Unraveling philosophy's essence. Philosophy, an essential aspect of human existence, stands apart from other disciplines due to its unique inquiry of general questions. While some may consider it to be overshadowed by the achievements of science, philosophy still has its valuable and distinctive concerns. Throughout history, the line between philosophy and science has been blurred. They have studied many of the same subjects, such as the nature of space and time. However, philosophy's ability to tackle traditional philosophical problems reveals the irreplaceable nature of this field. We all find ourselves pondering the deeper meaning of life or defending our convictions, instinctively diving into philosophy. Although various disciplines ask significant questions searching for evidence and rationale, what sets philosophy apart is its exploration of the most comprehensive questions, such as, why is there something rather than nothing? This kind of questioning leads to the stereotype that philosophers simply muse over unanswerable and trivial questions. Comparatively, scientists are seen as diligent experimenters, investigating real-world phenomena, hence gaining a more positive public image. However, the line between scientists and philosophers has not always been so distinct. Throughout much of European history, there was no separation between philosophy and science. Those who studied nature were called natural philosophers. Only during the scientific revolution in the 16th and 17th centuries did science branch off, forming its own methods and areas of study. Consequently, rapid advancements in science have left a more profound impact on the world. In modern times, it may seem as if science has overtaken philosophy. Though their subjects may overlap, scientific methods might appear better equipped to find the answers. Yet, can science solve all the traditional philosophical problems? For example, establishing an experiment to answer, does the number 7 exist, cannot rely on mere observation. As we move forward, we will delve into the unique aspects of philosophy, revealing that it has a distinct and indispensable role, separate from that of natural sciences. The linguistic turn's impact. During the linguistic turn, philosophy shifted its focus from discussing the nature of objects in the world to exploring the language we use to describe them. Ludwig Wittgenstein, a prominent philosopher in this movement, believed that clarifying meanings could resolve philosophical problems. While many disagreements are caused by language ambiguities, concepts like free will and woman can have multiple aspects that make defining them difficult. Philosophy's role is to discover and examine these complexities, helping to create clearer communication and a richer understanding of the concepts involved. As the natural sciences proved to be crucial in studying the world, philosophy also needed to adapt and redefine its role. Thus, the linguistic turn emerged, marking a shift in philosophy's attention from exploring worldly things to the language we use to discuss them. The Austrian philosopher of language Ludwig Wittgenstein, a key figure in this movement, postulated that resolving all philosophical problems could be achieved through clarifying the terms and concepts we utilize. While this may seem overconfident, it does highlight that many disagreements stem from linguistic ambiguities. For example, asking a philosopher about the existence of free will would likely result in a question about the specific meaning of the term free will. This seemingly irritating response serves a purpose, clarifying ambiguous concepts. Free will can refer to acting according to personal motivations or making decisions without external causes. These distinct definitions lead to different answers and demonstrate that specifying meanings is essential to avoid misunderstandings. However, defining even seemingly straightforward concepts can be challenging. Consider the concept of a woman, difficult to pin down due to the numerous dimensions of womanhood. Traditional definitions based on anatomy, reproductive function, or social roles have been criticized for being overly restrictive. As people are represented by the term woman, they have a vested interest in avoiding overly narrow classifications. In such cases, philosophy takes on a different role, breaking down simplistic, naive definitions and revealing their inherent complexities. In conclusion, the linguistic turn provided a new perspective on approaching philosophical problems. By clarifying and understanding the multiple dimensions inherent in the concepts we use, we can achieve clearer communication and foster a more profound and nuanced comprehension of the subjects we discuss. The linguistic turn serves as a potent reminder that much of our thinking and communication is rooted in the language we use and its inherent complexities. Unraveling thought experiments. Thought experiments serve as essential tools to evaluate and test theories in the world of philosophy, much like physical experiments in science. By constructing hypothetical situations, philosophers explore problems and challenge theories through the power of imagination. As a human faculty, imagination helps us to problem solve and navigate through our environment, underlining the value of thought experiments in philosophical debates. Imagine a world where you can devise experiments without any constraints and test various theories without the need for physical evidence. Welcome to the realm of thought experiments, where philosophers create little stories to put theoretical problems into context. The scenario could be plausible or purely fictitious, but the ultimate goal is to examine its implications for real-world problems. Take the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, for instance. To delve into moral philosophy, he introduced the mythical ring of Gyges in his work, The Republic. This magical ring renders the wearer invisible, leading one of the characters in the text to argue that any individual with such power would undoubtedly use it for criminal purposes. The argument suggests that fear of punishment is the underlying reason for moral behavior. In this case, whether the ring exists or not is irrelevant. What's crucial is understanding human behavior in the presence of such a possibility. Similarly, in contemporary philosophical debates, thought experiments act as counterexamples to challenge prevailing theories. David Chalmers, a modern philosopher of the mind, crafted the concept of a philosophical zombie to dispute the idea that conscious experiences stem solely from brain processes. These zombies are exact duplicates of humans down to their brain synapses, with one exception: they lack consciousness. Chalmers posits that the mere possibility of imagining a philosophical zombie implies that consciousness is more than just physical brain activity. One might argue that the use of imagination in thought experiments renders them more related to fiction instead of meaningful philosophical inquiry. However, imagination is an essential human capacity that continually guides our actions, decision-making, and problem-solving. It becomes particularly useful when real-world trials present risks or incur high costs. Consider facing the daunting task of scaling a cliff without safety gear. Utilizing imagination, you could determine various routes, visualize potential hazards and outcomes, and eventually identify the most secure path. This thought process undoubtedly saves you from dire consequences. In this light, thought experiments serve as intellectual expeditions, enabling philosophers to evaluate potential situations that support or invalidate theories. While the imagination can sometimes lead us astray, it's valuable to remember that our senses can falter as well, highlighting that thought experiments are crucial devices in the quest for philosophical understanding. Unraveling philosophical debates. Philosophers thrive on argumentation, often engaging in intellectual battles that strengthen their theories through rigorous defenses. This custom traces back to the inception of philosophical thought. Debates bring ideas to the forefront through performance, but can also fall victim to manipulative rhetoric. To minimize this vulnerability, philosophers opt for evidence-backed claims and avoid personal attacks. Rooted in tradition, the medieval game of obligations exemplified ideal philosophical debate through logic and structured rules. Today's philosophical conversations carry the spirit of this game, adhering to an etiquette of permissible argumentative techniques. Philosophers have long enjoyed intellectual sparring. Witnessing a philosophical lecture erupt into passionate discourse can be considered a mark of triumph, akin to ancient gladiators battling in the arena. While this combative approach may seem peculiar, it has been an integral part of philosophical inquiry since its beginnings. The theatrical element of these debates exists not merely for entertainment, but to refine the philosopher's arguments and ideas. When two theorists face off, defending their respective beliefs, they are compelled to reassess, revise, and strengthen their arguments in response to their opponent's critiques. Yet, this confrontational aspect of philosophical debate can leave the door open for seductive rhetoric. Although rhetoric is fundamentally the study of argumentation, it can lead to the prioritization of persuasion over truth. The allure of charismatic speech and confidence masks the absence of cogent arguments. To counterbalance this potential pitfall, philosophers maintain measures that uphold their pursuit of truth. They favor clarity over flowery language, substantiate claims with evidence, and focus their criticisms on their opponent's ideas rather than personal traits. The medieval game of obligations embodied this ideal approach to debate. Players argued for and against a statement's truth, adhering to strict logical rules that resembled the structure of chess. An umpire supervised each round to ensure fair play. This courteous tradition encouraged the assertion that truth will prevail when diligence and respect for the rules dominate. While modern philosophical discussions may not be as stringent, the influence of obligations remains evident. Today's debates channel the game's guiding principles by upholding etiquette that defines which arguments are deemed appropriate and legitimate. Embracing doubt in philosophy. Socrates, the ancient Greek philosopher, laid the foundation for Western philosophy with his famous paradox, "All I know is that I know nothing." This tradition of skepticism has persisted throughout the history of philosophy, with key figures like René Descartes and David Hume challenging our beliefs, arguments, and perceptions. Some philosophers have even questioned basic logical principles, such as the law of self-identity. However, doubting does not signify ignorance. It's a means of motivating us to seek reasons and evidence. Modern philosophers recognize that logic, like the physical laws of science, provides a valuable framework for understanding and solving problems, despite its occasional need for questioning. Philosophy, therefore, shares a common purpose with the natural sciences, the pursuit of knowledge through examination and doubt. Unveiling philosophy's progress. Philosophy has come a long way since its inception, displaying significant progress, especially in the 20th century. Early philosophers laid the groundwork for innovations in classical logic, which eventually sparked advancements in computer programming languages. These achievements led to the birth of modern computers, showing the crucial role philosophy has played in shaping scientific and technological progress. Contrary to common misconceptions that philosophers only rehash age-old questions, the discipline has witnessed substantial strides. Innovations in the 20th century serve as a testament to philosophy's progress. For instance, early 20th century philosophers laid the foundation for a pivotal advancement, classical logic. This development redefined logical rules, treating the truth or falsity of sentences like mathematical equations and replacing Aristotle's long-standing premises with a more sophisticated system. The impact of classical logic is immense, as it eventually formed the backbone of computer programming languages and drove further advancements in logic by introducing new rules. Concurrently, another notable breakthrough unfolded in the realm of mathematical philosophy. In 1936, English logician Alan Turing conceived the idea of a universal computing machine. Although merely a theoretical concept at the time, this abstract machine could perform any set of instructions provided. A decade later, Turing's vision turned into reality when tasked with decoding German transmissions during World War II. This project gave birth to the earliest form of modern computers, a groundbreaking achievement that stemmed from philosophy's intellectual roots. As philosophy's accomplishments come to light, it is clear that this discipline has significantly influenced the course of scientific and technological evolution. By acknowledging these valuable contributions, we can give due credit to philosophy for its role in shaping our world and fostering an appreciation for its continued impact on future advancements. Unraveling stereotypes of philosophy. Despite the common stereotypes, philosophers are serious, diligent scholars whose work aligns more with scientists than the notorious Greek cynic, Diogenes. Philosophy adheres to scientific rigor as its conclusions are presented through logical arguments that can yield the same results for anyone who engages with them. In fact, scientific methods and philosophy share similarities, with both disciplines utilizing thought experiments to explore concepts. This overlap between philosophy and natural sciences suggests that if one is considered scientific, the other should be as well. Diving into the world of philosophy, many might believe that it is a realm separate from the experimental methods of science. However, this perception could not be further from the truth. Beneath powerful stereotypes that portray philosophers as hermits, spiritual gurus or political polemicists, lies the reality: philosophers are earnest, industrious academics with striking similarities to scientists. Central to scientific rigor is the ability for observations to be checked and confirmed by others, minimizing the impact of individual errors and biases. Philosophy upholds this same standard of rigor, with philosophers framing their conclusions within logical arguments. These clear and logical arguments offer consistent outcomes for anyone who examines them, regardless of their location and time. Moreover, the processes within scientific methods are not as definitive as one might assume. Data from experiments by themselves do not prove anything, interpretations and arguments must be made based on that data. This requirement for logical arguments reveals how similar the sciences can be to philosophy at times. In addition to these parallels, philosophers and scientists alike employ thought experiments to explore various ideas further. For instance, the renowned 17th-century scientist Galileo Galilei used a thought experiment to debunk the prevalent belief that heavier objects fall faster than lighter ones. Considering the significant overlap between philosophy and natural sciences, it begs the question: if one is deemed scientific, shouldn't the other be as well? This conundrum paves the way for further inquiry on the relationship between philosophy and science. Philosophy's intense focus on history. Starting their studies with Plato, first-year philosophy students embark on a journey that began over 2 millennia ago. Unlike scientific fields where past discoveries are taken for granted, philosophers tend not to leave past ideas behind. The history of philosophy, an area devoted to interpreting the thoughts of previous thinkers, is an essential part of the discipline. However, the current tendency to overemphasize the history of philosophy to the point of overshadowing other areas could be debilitating. The danger lies in reducing philosophy to a mere collection of theories that lack objective evaluation, thus putting the relevance of the discipline at stake. Progress often comes from engaging with current developments and interacting with other disciplines, making it crucial for philosophy to embrace its interdisciplinary potential. Philosophy's underlying presence. Although it might seem like philosophy is only a marginal subject in today's world, it's actually at the core of every discipline. Disciplines often delve into philosophical methods when examining their fundamental concepts. For instance, economists challenging the assumption of rational agents or quantum physicists questioning traditional logical laws. Additionally, discoveries in various fields have had significant implications for traditional philosophical questions, such as evolutionary theory's impact on understanding humans and the origins of life. Philosophy's importance should not be underestimated, as its methods underpin all other disciplines, making it an integral part of science.
As we come to the end of our journey through the insightful perspectives presented in Doing Philosophy, from common curiosity to logical reasoning, we discover that philosophy is not merely an armchair pursuit. Philosophy propels us to constantly question assumptions and challenge the foundations of our knowledge, reaching across various disciplines and connecting with scientific methodologies. Although progress in philosophy might appear slow compared to other fields, its unique contribution to human understanding and critical thinking cannot be underestimated. By engaging with philosophy, we enrich our ability to reason, make informed decisions, and achieve clarity in an increasingly complex world. Embrace the power of curiosity and logical reasoning to illuminate your path through life with the wisdom that philosophy provides.